My friends, I'm taking you on another Hyperspeed video, which is this time leaving out from the rest home where my mom is currently in for a urinary tract infection. She's getting a little better, but still not out of the woods yet. But this was in Marsville, North Carolina, so I'm turning left here. Going down a little intersection, we'll turn left, and we're going to head from Madison County over into Yancy County, and I went home via my old hometown, which is Little Switzerland, which you're going to see. That's Highway 26 to the left up there. We're just now turning on to Highway 19 and going north. So Madison County, which we're in here, Yancy County, Mitchell County, where I grew up, they're all counties that border Tennessee, so we're just right at the Tennessee line. If you were to go back over to the left 15 miles or maybe less, or 10 miles, maybe less than that, you cross over into Tennessee. And so, yeah, we're going up this mountain here. We're going to go up to an elevation. Oh, I was going to stop for a second. These little churches, I noticed there's a whole lot of these little white churches. Look like they're built by the same person, maybe. You'll see them all along up through this trip. I'd never noticed that till this drive back. So I had come from Asheville to Mars Hill to visit Mom, and I wanted to avoid Asheville traffic on the way back. This is about 5:30 in the evening, 5:45. So it's going to get dark in this video. By the time we're through, I will be riding around in the dark. There's another one. Like I say, a lot of those little churches built very similar to that, and they're all along this way. I'm pausing using Adobe Premiere Pro. So that's what you're seeing when I do the pause here. I'm doing a screen capture using Camtasia software to screen capture this. And it's kind of cool because I'm able to stop at a point, and if I need to go backward or a frame or two, it lets me do that. It's kind of a cool way to do this. This is 500% speed, so if I'm averaging, say, 50 miles an hour, we're getting the equivalent of 250 miles per hour on this trip. So that's why it's going so fast. It's kind of neat. I like to stop sometimes and see what kind of trucks are going up down the road, but here you go. And so we're headed to Burnsville. We're probably the first major town we come to, and Burnsville is the county seat of Yancy County. It's about 2,750 feet there. Now, I grew up in Little Switzerland, which we'll see later in this video, about 3,500 feet, so I grew up kind of higher. Now, the highest mountains, there's another one of those little churches I'm talking about. The highest mountains in east of the Mississippi are the Black Mountain Range, which are in Yancy County. So this county we're in is the one that has Mount Mitchell, Mount Silo, and Mount Craig, and oh my gosh, there's just like 11 or 12 peaks there that is part of the up ahead of us there. It's part of the Black Mountain Range. You're sort of seeing the tip tops of them as we're going around it through here. Most of them, a lot of those mountains are over 6,000 feet. Mount Mitchell's 6,684. Now, I'm going to stop and get some gas in Burnsville here shortly, so that's kind of a stopping point we're going to see. I like Burnsville. That's where the New Ray Inn is. If you ever heard of that, if you've ever been touring around up in the mountains, it's a very scenic, pretty place. There's good little shops and stuff in Burnsville. They have nice festivals. Good people in Yancy County. I've always enjoyed. I didn't like playing ball against them. They were a tough ball team. I was going to say that's not where Mountain Heritage is. There is. It might have been. But we played against Mountain Heritage High School when I played at Mitchell, and we played them in basketball and stuff too. So I think I'm getting ready to stop here and get my gas at a little place over here to the left. So you're going to see me turn in right here, and then we'll pick up. Yeah, I went into this fast stop here. And now we're taking off and going back out, waiting our turn to get out on the road. It can be a little aggravating here, just the way the traffic moves. You have to just wait and get you a good hole. There we go. So, yeah, so now we're headed further north on Highway 19 and headed towards Spruce Pine, but I cut off. I did not go all the way to Spruce Pine. I went to what's called the upper end of Crabtree. Excuse me. Yeah, or actually the lower end of Crabtree. Crabtree's a creek, and I lived at the upper end of Crabtree, what they call the head of Crabtree, up in Little Switzerland, more specifically sort of an area called Strawberry Ridge area. And so I'm just seeing, what are we passing here? I'm trying to remember what some of these buildings are. Trucking place. Anyway, it was awesome growing up in this area, folks. It was just, I don't know, it's kind of a magical. In the summer, it's so nice. The temperatures just typically don't ever get up over 85. It's a typical Appalachian mountain day is maybe 77, 78. That's in the dead of summer. In the winter, it gets pretty cold. You may have seen that the Black Mountains we're looking at a while ago were snow-capped. And, it can get brutal. The most snow I've ever seen on the ground, honestly, was maybe about 34, 35 inches after several different snows. What happens is in a bad winter when it snows really hard, it's typically it'll freeze up and it just stays, and then it snows on top of it and snows on top of it. I was noticing this truck had a lot. I remember passing this truck, it had like a ton of stickers on it. I was going to see if I could read any of them. So this was shot with a GoPro Hero 11 that was hung upside down in my truck window. And, of course, the GoPro will automatically take that video and turn it right side up. So, we're just burning the road up, headed toward the Spruce Pine area, but we're going to cut off and go right here just in a minute. Once in a while, I'll just pause it to see you get a little bit of a break. Now, see, the video is going to get a little grainier here as the light starts to lessen. So pretty soon we're going to be in the dark. Now, I did record this video in real time. Here's my turn off here to go foot of Crabtree and going up. So now we're headed up toward my house where I grew up. And there's this little lower Crabtree area right here. I'm trying to remember what it's called. This is just called the foot of Crabtree is all I've ever heard it called. And my dad, I think, got arrested he was running moonshine. I think that little area right there, he ran his truck off and it ran into a barn and set it on fire. And this was back in the 50s. We got a little bit of a colorful past. Now, this area right here, over to the right, I think I can take my mouse and show. There's a creek, Crabtree Creek runs over here, and there used to be a baptizing place. So I was baptized, I think, when I was 11 years old in this creek back over here in this little area. So that's kind of an interesting spot for me. Now, this is all going to be very blurry because the light's getting low and we're just busting it through here. So, but you're getting ready to see a remote area, folks. I grew up in the end of the world, it would seem like. So look, see if you see a single house anywhere through here. You just go for miles and miles and miles. And I think a lot of this is private property. Maybe it's hunting land or something. But this is how far back in the sticks Tony Lee Glenn grew up. So we're going to go to the headwaters of Crabtree Creek. So the creek, you can see it there if I back up and give a frame or two again. That is the creek there. And there's a waterfall on this, not the Crabtree Falls that's super famous. There's actually a second Crabtree Falls. And it's a pretty falls too, but not like the one. If you Google Crabtree Falls, you're going to see one of the prettiest waterfalls you've ever seen. It looks like something out of Rivendell on Lord of the Rings. But the one I grew up to, the second Crabtree Falls, is about 90 feet, and it's off in the woods here to the right. And I've been down to it now half a dozen times or so. This just shows you just how incredibly curvy the road was up to my house. So we're climbing from that, about 2,600 foot elevation up to about 3,500, up here where I was raised. And there are some homes up here. You're getting what's called the McKinney Mine area. So here's a few homes here, but you're still going further and further, kind of away from everything. And our land was in what's called the Deer Lick Gap, and it just backed up. Oh, I was going to back up here. This is interesting. Oops. If you've ever, go to my channel and do a search for when Tim Glenn saw Bigfoot. And this is the area where Tim and his friend Martin claimed that they saw Bigfoot. I would say it was probably over here crossing the road or something. And just watch that video. It's hilarious to watch anyway. And my brother is not a sensationalizer person. He doesn't lie. He's pretty dang straight up. I was going to say this road right here goes up to the, I'm trying to remember. We called it McKinney Mine. The McKinneys owned that land, but I can't remember what they call it, Switzerland Mine or something now. Maybe it says on the thing here. But there's a really cool mining museum up in there, and it's big old mine holes. It's really quite something to see. I think you'd like it if you wanted to go up to Little Switzerland and see that area. A lot of tourists come through here. I used to ride my bike through here all the time and go and visit my buddies. So this is Upper Crabtree, and it's Glens and stuff that live up here. This house here, when I was growing up, it was vacant. But there's just a few homes there. We're coming almost to where I was raised, folks. So this is the Deerlick Gap, this whole area here. And it's a gap that comes from Upper Crabtree, and it goes over. The Blue Ridge Parkway is running along the road up here way up on top of this mountain. And so we're getting ready to see the house where I grew up. Yeah, this is it. Through the trees here, this white house over here is the house where I grew up, but it was moved by my uncle. It used to sit up here, and he had it moved. They had brought a moving team in and actually picked the house up and moved that sucker down there. So my mom and dad's brick house is back up in here where they used to live, and I think my brother Tim owns most of this now. Dad had a 75-acre farm, and then bought another. I had a 70-acre farm, and then bought another 75 acres. So here we are. We're on Strawberry Ridge Road. No, not Strawberry Ridge Road. Here, well, this sign, if you can see, it says Deerlick Gap, Deerlick Road. And then this is the little church I went to up here. It's about a quarter mile from the house. That's it right there. That's Black Mountain Baptist Church. Great little church. Still is to this day. Good people. My brothers go to church there. And my Uncle Jeter Mace. So I'm a Mace and Glenn on one side, Mitchell and Fox on the other. My Uncle Jeter was the local moonshine dude. Him and my Papa Ed, my great-granddad. So it's my great-granddad and his brother, and they were the moonshiners in the area, and they stayed in trouble with the law, but they made a living, got by with it. So I got Bo and Luke Duke in my veins. Now we're coming to what's called the Bearwalla Gap. And yes, it's at Bearwalla. The people around there call it Bearwaller. It's a Bearwaller Gap, and here it is. When you cross over this little thing here, this little underpass, right? It looks like people put all kind of graffiti and stuff inside. Too bad. And then this is the road that I drive to school every day. So look at this, folks. If you fall off that, now back in the old days, there weren't these guardrails there. They put them up later, but there were no guardrails for the longest time. You could fall into the next county, and I mean, it falls 800 feet off the side here. And I've driven this at 50 miles an hour. I mean, you could so easily go off this road. So I know it's getting dark, folks. I don't know how much fun you'll have watching this. I think I did up the gain on this video just to see if I could bring out a little bit more detail. Everything you've been watching has been just normal GoPro Hero 11. That's a post office over here to the left. Then there's a restaurant over here you can't see back over this side, but this is Little Switzerland. This is the Chalet Motor Lodge. It's recently been bought by, I drove up here to see if I could take the Parkway, and the Parkway was closed. So I turned around, came back over here, and went around the side of the mountain. So we got more kind of precipitous fall-offs here. McDowell County's back over here on this side, and we're still in Mitchell County at this point. I forgot to tell you we had crossed over. You can see a reflection off my dashboard. You were looking through the windshield, as we're watching this. That's what that is up there on top. That's not some weird watermark. It's beautiful. During the day when you can see the mountains, that is the Big Lynn Lodge over here to the right. I think we just crossed I think you crossed just a little bit into McDowell County there, and that's what that is. But the Big Lynn Lodge is a great little lodge where you can go stay and enjoy the Appalachian Mountains. It's really great in the fall. I mean, they stay open, I think, year-round, but they do most of their business in the fall. So sorry this is all dark. If nothing else, you get to see the curves that I had to grow up with. You have to learn how to drive it, and it's second nature to me. I can just buzz up and down this road. I don't drive as fast as I used to. I try to be more careful. This is the top of the mountain. It's called the Skyline Inn, I think. I think it's still called that. It might be called something else, but that's what it is on the left. And we're here at the top of the mountain, where if we stayed straight, we'd go into Grassy Creek and Spruce Pine. But we're not going to go straight. I had to get home. So you see, it's Mitchell County. That's the Blue Ridge Parkway. This is the Blue Ridge Parkway run right here. That's an overpass that's coming out, and the Parkway runs across that. So I'm going to head on down the hill, folks, and I'll show you what it's like to come off the mountain. And then this video will end. I just wanted you to see people who grew up straight, curved, not curved not banked. Like all these roads are really steeply banked. When you're going down them, you honestly feel like you're slightly in a roller coaster. When you're up or more down them, and you kind of lean. You learn to lean. You get strong side muscles from leaning left and right. But this is what we call Cox's Creek Mountain. So there's a creek down in here called Cox's Creek that's coming down, and so that's what the locals call this, is Cox's Creek. And man, did it used to be hazardous in the winter when you're coming down. A lot of people work down here at the foot of the mountain at the Baxter Travenol Laboratories, or the American Thread used to be being today. I'm not sure what else down there now. But so this video is going to end. I just get to the bottom of the mountain and I stop it. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions about this area, let me know. Peace to all who watch. Subscribe to the channel if you like. Come visit the Appalachian Mountains. It's pretty awesome.